Growing Towards God podcast. Here on Growing Towards God, we talk about ways to grow spiritually and hear how God has been working in people's lives. My name is Virginia, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Thank you for listening, so now let's get to the good stuff. Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 of Emily and Corrin's episode for Seeing God Abroad on the Growing Towards God podcast. I'm so excited to be back with them. And if you haven't listened to part 1, definitely go listen to that first, because we're going to be jumping back into our conversation about being abroad and like what we learned. Yeah, hi Emily and Corrin.
Hi Virginia. So happy to be here again.
Yes, we love it.
Good. Yeah. I guess to jump in, what was your favorite moment? We just love to keep it real and giggly. You know, we're just having fun.
We don't stop giggling.
No. This is for you listeners. Emily and Corrin and I live together in Ireland, and we just we're always laughing and always something was happening, and that was so fun. So this is you're getting a little taste into what living with Emily and Corrin and the three of us actually is like.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it's the looks too. I remember. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Virginia starts crying.
Yep. Cry laughing. Oh.
Okay, I'm ready.
Our good old kitchen in our apartment. That was so funny.
Now I'm crying.
Actual tears. Okay. Well, I guess question time. So what was your favorite moment from being abroad?
I'll go first. So I think my favorite moment was I think it was the beginning of May, I think. All of our friends, our American friends from the apartment that we lived in, we all had a picnic and we watched the sunset behind South Campus at Maynooth, which is where we studied. And it was just such a good time to be with friends. And we were kind of reminiscing about our study abroad because it was the month that we were going to leave and go back home. And we were just I don't even know what we were talking about, but it was just random conversations. We were just laughing and it was just such a wholesome moment. And then there was the sunset that was so pretty, and we were just running around through the field. We were dancing, and it was just such a cool moment to be all together. And especially that we had gone through the last 3.5 months with each other, and we're kind of just enjoying each other's company. And it was it the last time we were all together, or not really? We had one more.
Kind of, because then we had breaks in classes. So we were all kind of traveling and doing different things.
Yeah. So it was just a really special time, and it always will be something that I think about when I think of Ireland and studying abroad and all those really special people. So
yeah. That was such a beautiful sunset. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
That was one of the best days ever.
Yeah, seriously.
My favorite moment from being abroad was, so we got there late January, and then we had a Galentine's Day party, which was just we all baked brownies and cookies, and all of us and our friends brought a dish to pass kind of. And that was one of the first moments that I don't know, I'm not saying this well, but when I think of study abroad, there's just joy. That's what I think of. It's just moments of so much joy, you can't even believe that it's real life. And I think that was one of the first times I felt that. I was wow, we have such a good community here. This is so fun. So that was one of my favorite moments from being abroad, was just that little Galentine's Day. It was just so fun and so joyful.
Yeah, that was such a fun night, and that it wasn't even a month into being there. I feel everyone just clicked so well, and that just speaks to I don't know, the kind of people that study abroad. And I feel everyone at study that goes to study abroad is ready to have fun and try something new and meet new people. That was really new for me. I wasn't really big on trying new things, but yeah, I feel I definitely grew a lot in my adventurousness. and like wanting to be more out there.
Yeah. I forgot about that. And that was like I didn't know everyone there either. Or like I had met them, but I didn't really know them. So that was like a really not like pivotal like time, but like it was like really like impactful for like the friendships that I made because everyone was in our apartment and it was just like good time.
And I just remember like decorating and everything too. Like that morning, we're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so fun.
Yeah. We were all like baking our cupcakes and whatever. That was so fun. Those balloons, we put up balloons, guys, and they stayed like for the rest of the semester.
Yeah.
They just like deflated like on the ceiling. But we were like, we kept it as a memento of that night.
Yeah.
So I guess on the note of like what we've like taken away and like how we kind of grew, like what would you guys say your biggest life takeaway is? The pretty big ask.
Yeah, no, this is I feel like I have a lot, so I might speak a little bit more. But I think like the first thought I would say is just book the flight. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of cheesy, right? But like I think study abroad really like helped me see that like I can like just to do it and just like really taught me that like if there's an opportunity you should take it. Because you never know what will come of it, you know? And I definitely like learned a lot from those opportunities that I took and I got to see a lot. Emily and I like we got to travel to a bunch of different countries and even though we're like, should we go? Should we not? Like it was totally worth it. And I would like very happy that we took advantage and we booked those flights even if we were like, oh, I don't know. Also kind of going along with that, like traveling itself, like it's not that hard and like doing scary things, like there's so much reward in doing them. So again, just like do it. I'd say just book the flight.
Yeah.
Full send.
Yeah, full send. I've heard it said like on the other side of your fear is freedom. And I think that that's so true, especially with studying abroad. Like, yeah, it was scary, but like, wow, I studied abroad and I visited so many different countries and like, look at the person that I am now. Like, that's way more freeing, you know? Like, imagine if we had just been like, no, that's scary. Like, we're not going to do it. You know, like, what would we have missed out on? Like, so much. This podcast, like, our friendship, like, everything.
Seriously.
Cue the identity crisis or what?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, honestly, I would say my biggest life takeaway is something very similar to what you were just saying, Virginia. It's just like I can do scary things, like just because you're scared of something that shouldn't hold you back from it because there's a way to like face your fear, if that makes sense, like a way to get around it. Because I feel like a lot of times, like if I don't feel like I'm going to be good enough or I feel like I'm going to fail at something or like it's just going to be too much to handle or whatever, like I just will not do something because I'm scared of it. And study abroad taught me that I can do scary things and that they're really cool sometimes and they can be better than you ever imagined them to be.
So good. Yeah, and like if we only do things that like we feel like we're gonna have success in, like you're never gonna grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a volleyball coach in high school who always said like get comfortable being uncomfortable. And it was like in volleyball, like you have to get used to like doing things that don't feel natural because then you'll get better at doing them. And like I just think about that a lot because if you're always comfortable, then you're never going to grow. And if you're uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, then you're never going to put yourself in those positions. So you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable because that's how you grow is by putting yourself in situations you've never been in before.
If you're putting yourself in what you think is like uncomfortable situations and you're finding that you're comfortable, maybe it's time to find a new uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's so true.
You've already grown too much. You got to keep going.
Yeah. Shed that skin.
Write that down.
Period.
That's cool. I love your takeaways. They're really good. Yeah, I think like I feel like I've said this before, but mine is just like you're supposed to have fun. You know,
Yeah.
it's easy, like it's okay. Like some things are hard, you know, and there's no getting around that. But like there's no point in making yourself sad and like just to be sad, you know? Like go and do things that make you have fun and like give you joy.
Yes. Yeah, and like adding on to what you're saying, Virginia, like I still think about what you told me. You read I think you were reading a book during study abroad, and it was like take a vacation every day. And I still think about that like once a week. And that it was so like impactful. It's like it was like the just go have fun or like do something. I can't even explain it very well, but it's like take a vacation once a day, like do something good for yourself that fills you up. And I still think about that. So
yeah.
Thank you, Virginia, for giving me that piece of advice.
Yeah, I think that was from another podcast. I don't remember, but yeah, I do remember that like piece of advice. Like, you know, go and do something, even if it's just like a 10-minute walk, you know, you do something for yourself like every day and, you know, take a little break from your life, you know, a mini vacation. You know, you owe that to yourself, you know, if it's going to help you, you know, you should do it. So do you guys have any more funny stories that you want to share?
Oh man, I feel like we have a lot of funny stories. We were reminiscing of this. But I think one that stands out to me was should I share this? Is that weird? It's fine. In Paris, it was like the first. It was like
She's already laughing.
it was like I don't know. We're like sitting at a cafe, whatever. We're eating, and then like the waiter, I was like talking to him because I want to like I just like talk to people, right? And he was trying to, and then he started like trying to set me up with his coworker, and it was just really funny. He was like, "Oh, you're going out tonight or whatever," and I'm like, "Oh no!" Like it was just really funny, and he was nice about it. Like he wasn't like, you know, like creepy.
Yeah, it wasn't creepy.
It wasn't creepy. It was just like really funny because I don't know. It just is a funny story. Like
I remember that. That was like the first day in Paris, and we were like starving, and we were eating our French fries and like our ratatouille.
Ratatouille, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that was just funny. Yeah,
yeah, and the guy's coworker's like, "What's going on here?" Like he was like,
but he was so nice, and that was like I like think about that when people are like, oh, or you know, like how people treat Americans, whatever, and like we had like good experiences in Paris, and even though people I feel like have said that they haven't had really good experiences, but that waiter was really nice. It was funny too. Like it was good to laugh at, and he was laughing, so it was a good time.
Yeah, that's really funny. I wonder if he was like serious at first, and then you said no, and he just like turned it into a joke.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh, I remember what I was gonna say.
Okay, good.
So we're in Paris still. Funniest trip, I guess. And we had just seen Sacré-Cœur, which is a very pretty church.
Yes.
And so first of all, we get there and there's like all these scammers with their clipboards saying, "Hey, pay to this charity that doesn't exist." And there's like these storm clouds rolling in, and it's just the three of us. We have all of our luggage. And we're like, what do we do? How do we go in? But anyway, so we go and see the chapel, and it was so pretty. And then we were leaving, and you have to walk down these like marble stairs.
Yeah.
They're very pretty, very smooth, but it had just been raining, so they were slippery. And I'm wearing my backpack, and I slip, and I would have fallen flat on my back, but my backpack saved my life because I didn't even. All of a sudden, I was on the ground. I didn't even feel it because I just landed on my backpack. So that was funny.
So. I just remember Emily just going down, and we're like, "What?"
I was like, I don't even know how this happened, you guys. I'm here.
Yeah, that happened so fast.
You're telling me. I think I blinked. And... Oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. That was a fun trip. That was a really fun trip.
That was one of my
I know it rained for like 9 hours at Disneyland in Paris. That was back, but that was a fun trip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah, Paris was like one of the top trips, I think, for me. That was so fun. Yeah, so I guess while we're talking about stories, like everyone has their funny stories, and then they also have their major mishaps, like something went wrong, you know, those mishap stories. So yeah, do you want to share what yours are?
Yeah. So I kind of I feel like I kind of dragged both of us. This is
Yeah,
not just my story.
We tag teamed this
yeah,
traumatic event.
We conquered it. And it is a funny story now, but it is definitely a mishap story. So we had a week-long Easter break, and so Emily and I and our friend Ryan were gonna go and travel around like Middle Europe, Eastern
Central.
Yes.
Middle Europe.
Middle Europe.
Okay, anyways, the middle of that's what I meant. Like the middle of the continent. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways. And we're going to the airport. And also my phone like keeps like shutting down. And like it like keeps restarting. Like it won't turn on for more than like a minute. It'll just shut down. And so I was like, oh no. And then but like got to the airport, got on got on the plane, and then I was like, I'm just gonna keep my phone off, it'll be fine. And we flew into Berlin, Germany. And that night, like it kept doing that and it just died and I couldn't turn it on, couldn't charge it. So I had a dead phone. And this is a week-long break, so like the longest trip. And so I didn't have a phone, and I was like pretty chill about it because Emily had her phone still, and I like knew my parents' numbers, I knew my sister's number, so I was like, okay, we're fine, whatever. And but then we took the Eurail. Yeah, we took the train, and I had my pass on my phone because it was through the app, but my phone was dead. And so we were on the train and the conductor was going around and I was like, I'll just explain to her my phone is dead, like she'll understand. Like I have the receipt through my email on Emily's phone. Like I'm not illegal. I'm here. You know what I mean? And then the conductor came through and she did not speak English. She spoke German. So I'm like trying to explain her my situation. And she's like gonna ask people for a charger. But I'm like, no, phone is broken. Like it won't charge. And then she kept saying like next, what did she say? Next, I don't know. And she's like, okay, next station. Like basically telling me I have to leave, like get off the train because I didn't have a ticket. I'm like in tears and I'm like, I don't know what to do because I'm like, I paid like this money. Like, I just like, my phone is dead. What do you want me to do? But she was like, no, next station, next station. And I'm bawling on the train and looking back, it's kind of funny to me. But also like in the moment, I was really like, oh no, what are we gonna do? We're in the middle of Germany and we had like our Airbnb in Prague. So we were like set to go. And then we had like 30 minutes until the train was going to go to the next station. And so Emily's doing the most out here because she has a phone. I'm like in the corner crying and she's like she's texting her mom. She's like looking things up. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was like, yeah, anyways. And then so Emily texted Mama Alexin and she was like, oh, like on the app, you can like add a pass. And so it was like 10 minutes before we're going to reach the station. She got like my pass added and we didn't leave the train and we got to Prague and it was good, but it was definitely a learning moment. I think like going in, I was like, it's fine. Like they'll understand. The worst that will happen is they kick me off the train. And then like when the worst was happening, that's when I like broke down. So, but we figured it out. Like God is faithful. God is good. I was just praying. Like I was in the seat, just like tears going down my face. I was just like, God, how is this gonna work out? And like Emily was like looking up, you were looking up like trains, you're looking up flights, you're like, she was doing the most. Like I could not have survived if Emily wasn't there. So shout out to Emily and Mama Alexin for getting us out of that. So yeah, that was like the biggest mishap, but like it worked out. Like it really did. So
yeah. Well, and you didn't mention that was our first train ride of four train rides for the trip. So we're like, oh, we can't go on the whole rest of the trip if you can't ride the train. But yeah, it worked out just fine.
Yeah.
Yes, it does work out. Yeah, those situations are really tough.
Yeah, and what I learned from that was that there's a solution to every problem. So
yeah,
good learning, growing moment.
Yeah, I think my biggest mishap was coming back from when my friends had come and visited me like in Dublin and the train like broke down midway back to our like Maynooth town and I was just like sitting on the train. I was like, okay, it stopped at the station, like, and then like I was just sitting there for a minute, and then this lady was like, you should probably get off. Like this train won't be going for a while. And I was like, what? And so yeah, I just had to like wander around the town, and the town isn't a town, like it's like this main road through it and then like a grocery store. And so I like go into the grocery store and I'm like trying to find Wi-Fi because like my phone doesn't work and all of that. And I like couldn't get on it. So I found this employee and she was like, here, you can use my phone. And so I'm like trying to call like the emergency number for like our program and it just like isn't working and nothing's working and I'm like crying in the grocery store because I'm like trying to get a taxi because the bus doesn't come to this town or whatever. And I'm like, how am I gonna get home? Like, what if I just like am stranded here, in this little rural Irish town, And that was really hard. But then like she called me a taxi, but then the taxi didn't take card and I was like out of cash. And so I had to go to the ATM but like the ATM was out of money. So then I had to like buy a piece of candy and get like cash back and all of that. And it was just such a stressful experience. But, I got in the taxi and it dropped me back off. And yeah, that was the day before St. Patrick's Day too. So then we went back into the city the next day.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was so exhausted, but I was like, St. Patrick's Day in Dublin, like I have to be there, so.
Yeah. And like you found your way out. Like it all worked out, but in the moment it is so stressful.
Yeah. I was like, I can't contact anyone. Like if I go missing, like no one's finding me ever. And
we would have found you.
You would have come and hunted for
me. We would have gone off every train stop and
yeah, I trust that you would. It was tough, but I made it through and I learned that I'm very resourceful. I like knew what to do, and even though I was like stressed and like emotional and like upset about it, I still like was able to try to problem solve in real time,
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, so I hope all of you listeners are taking away that like your problem solving skills like do develop when you go abroad, And like even with
critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Yes, critical thinking, all of that. It does develop once you go abroad, and even if you don't go abroad, like just putting yourself in different situations, and like just seeing how you react and how you handle them is really important. And they, real world skills. You can't learn that from like any classroom setting. That's like real world experience.
Yeah, seriously.
So thank you guys again for being on. It's always such a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's so wonderful to talk to you as always.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you took something meaningful away from this discussion and know that God loves you so much and desires a personal relationship with you. If you'd like to stay up to date with episodes, follow me on Instagram at Growing Towards God Pod and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Before I go, I'd like you to take this benediction into your life and let the Lord's goodness empower you today. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Have a great rest of your day and catch you next time on the Growing Towards God podcast.